Leg kicks, anyone? Hey, what's up, Fight Nerd? This is your boy, Gashawn. I want to welcome you into the Nerd. So today we're going to talk about UFC 261. Just finished watching with a couple of the boys. And boy, was it rather crazy. There were really cool fights in the prelims, which definitely, if you have ESPN Plus, go back and watch. But we're going to be focusing on the main card because the main card had tons of surprises. And it was a rather short main card because of how each of the matches actually ended. So let's get right into that right now. First match on the card was in the light heavyweight division between Anthony Smith and Jimmy Crute. So that looked to be a bit of a brawl, especially because Jimmy Crute was coming in there to quote unquote maul Anthony Smith. And Anthony Smith is trying to make sure that he knows, hey, I'm not a gatekeeper, so I'm still in it to win the championship if I have to. Now, that match was, it was pretty close in the beginning. Obviously, Smith was looking a little cleaner when it came to certain strikes, but he didn't want to get too caught up in the way Crute was just ready to kind of hook off. Now, he was actually getting hit. Smith was getting hit with a couple of leg kicks early on, and I thought the leg kicks were going to accumulate against Smith, but then you actually started seeing it a little different, especially when Anthony Smith actually gave a really sharp calf kick to Jimmy Crute, which appeared to either just, hit him right in a nerve, or a combination of hitting him in a nerve and making him fall on it in a way where he did break something. It was rather nuts watching that. Yeah, and he was just stumbling over to the corner. He actually, to be honest, what was really crazy about it was even after he got hit there, he managed to still take down Anthony, even while applying pressure to that leg. Still gave him a bit of a challenge on the ground. The round ended, and he could barely make it to the corner. Obviously, the doctor had him walk out to try and test and see where the integrity of the leg was. He called it off, and he couldn't stand. He tried to beat his chest, and he still, from doing that, he still went off balance. So, I mean, really tough dude, but wow, that was nuts. So pretty much TKO by leg kick, right? So that was the end of that first match. Now, the second match was between Weidman and Uriah Hall. Now, we've been waiting for this because this is a rematch from, I think, 11 years ago, something like that, which is pretty nuts. Now, they've all had their different journeys. They both had, their high points and low points within the division. So we were looking for a pretty exciting fight. The first kick thrown, the leg kick thrown by Weidman was checked by Hall, and literally, shades of what Weidman did to Anderson Silva in their second fight happens to him. He hits his shin, directly hits bone, or maybe some of the space right between the ankle and the rest of the foot, and it just immediately breaks. Actually, it's the middle of the shin. Was it fibula? But yeah, so it breaks. He moves the leg back because he actually doesn't feel it as soon as it breaks, but then when he tries to put the weight on it, it bends and you see him scream. It was gruesome. Not a way we want to actually see a fight end. I know that's not a way that Uriah Hall wanted to win, but it happened. It's part of it, and he was classy at the end. I hope Weidman, he gets better. Obviously, he's kind of up there, and it makes me feel like this is the last time we're going to see him because, I mean, let's face it, for Anderson Silva to have to get over what he went through, he literally needed to go on steroids to heal faster because at that age, it's kind of a career ender. So, I mean, I hope he recovers fully just to be able to use that leg regularly, but I'm not sure if he's going to come back to that. But yeah, that was the end of that fight. That was a fight for Uriah Hall, Weidman in the middleweight division. First championship fight, Valentina Shevchenko and Jessica Andrade. So I was pulling for Valentina here, right? Definitely. And obviously a lot of people were thinking Andrade was going to have a big challenge in terms of how strong she is physically and her knockout power that you don't really see in that weight division. However, Valentina had an excellent game plan, neutralizing the power by just giving her a couple quick shots, staying outside of a certain range, and then getting within the range, and using her technique to constantly drive her on the floor. Because here's a couple things. Jessica, with the amount of muscle she has, that wasn't going to be a very long fight. She was going to get tired. She just really was. And she was really counting on how much stronger she was. But Valentina was using like really good technique, like the placement of her hips, the nice trips, and just the changing of the leverage. That was really, really cool. I really loved that about that fight. And she really just kind of broke her down and really showed her there are levels to this. And she finished her with a crucifix, which is one of her favorite things that she likes to go for. But I believe she got Chukagian in this the last time too. And there was just nothing Andrade could do. So it was another dominant victory for a dominant champion. And yeah, that's it for that fight, the flyweight division for women. Okay, so next fight is between Zhang Weili and Rose Namajunas. So I admit I was actually pulling for Zhang in this one, but I knew Rose would be dangerous. But I didn't think it would end like this. This fight, I thought it'd be more of a, she would maybe get her with her footwork, or Rose would get Zhang with her footwork and possibly just chip away at her over and over again. Or if Zhang would have won, it would be more in devastating fashion. But boy, was I wrong here, because Rose hit her with a beautiful leg kick, which Zhang did think was going to the body. So she moved her body out the way and put her head right on line with the foot. So it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. But hats off to Rose. I know Zhang was really upset because she was like, oh, the ref stopped it too early. However, just because you weren't dead doesn't mean that you weren't getting finished, because she wasn't able to defend herself from all the subsequent strikes that came on after. So let's just see how long Rose can hang on to this. I know Joanna's probably going to want to fight her again, but she's already lost to her twice. She probably wanted Zhang to win that one so they can have a rematch of that. And they could probably still have a rematch to see who's going to go and fight Rose again. That would probably be very interesting. I'd like to see that. I definitely want to see Zhang win something else before that, because when you get finished like that, you want to get your nerve up. You want to get your confidence back. I think I should do that. And Rose should be very proud of herself in overcoming whatever anxiety she was talking about. I obviously thought her comments before the fight were a little bit weird, right? But it is what it is. We're talking about their fighting, and obviously Rose did a good job. So that's it for that fight. Now, when it comes to the main event, what everyone was waiting for, not really me. I didn't really need this fight. Whatever, though. For the welterweight championship, Kamaru Usman and Jorge Masvidal. Now, obviously, we saw this first fight last year on the first card for Fight Island. It was a complete domination of Kamaru Usman. Obviously, you ask Jorge, it would be from playing footsie with him. Whatever you want to say, it is what it is. He couldn't stop it. He couldn't stop him from getting him on the cage, even though in the first round, in the first fight, he looked pretty good and he clipped him a little bit. So he kept saying, hey, with this new camp, this is going to be very, very different. And obviously, Usman also has a camp for him now, so we couldn't expect it to be the same, especially now that he's training with someone different, and he looks very, very crisp when it comes to his striking now. He's getting better at that. So when you watch this fight, the first thing you see is that jab. Like, he's getting so much better at that jab. Jab to the head, jab to the body, jab to the head, jab to the body. Little switches, which was really good. Now, obviously, Jorge has always been sharp there, but he couldn't really get started in the first round. And eventually he got taken down pretty powerful. Now, he fought a lot, giving elbows from the bottom, tons of strikes from his back. Even when he got put onto the cage, he just fought. He just kept fighting for it, which was good. Like, it was going to make it very interesting. But still, he got up to his feet. He got a couple good strikes in. But the round one definitely still went to Usman, though. But I guess a lot of people thought, oh, well, he survived that. He got up. That must have meant it was going to be a long match. Boy, were all of us wrong about that one, because as soon as the second round came, obviously Jorge turned it on a little bit more, and he wound up running into, because obviously through the jab, or the opposite way, right? So, because he's right-handed. So he threw the jab, and then that overhand right. And he threw the right, knocked out Jorge, and then bumped him with the shoulder to knock him to the floor, and just kept it going until Herb Dean stopped it, which was pretty crazy, because I said before this match even started, I said, if there's gonna be a finish here, it needs to be by Jorge, because that's what he kept talking about. But if it's Usman that finishes him, it's not looking good. Not looking good for the BMF, right? Because that's not, he kept saying that he's gonna bring the violence, and the violence was brought to him, right? And that this camp was gonna be so different, and it still was, it wasn't good on his part. Now, obviously, Colby Covington is going to be the person that's going to fight Usman next. So Usman will have another sequel. So this is better for Usman, really. This made his stock go up. Now he's got a finish against somebody who is very popular. And perhaps if he does this even against Colby again, this will make it, you can't deny him. Now, it kind of sucks, because if Jorge was going to win, we were going to get a trilogy with that, which I didn't want. So I'm actually very glad that Usman won, just to put this to bed. So I think, obviously, Jorge should probably fight somebody, but whether it can't be Nate, because Nate and Leon are doing this. Maybe the winner of that, or maybe he could fight Nick Diaz, because remember, Nick said he wanted him a while after Nate was talking about it, so maybe we would go with that. So yeah, that's really the card. That's what's going on there. I think everybody should start respecting. You should already respected Usman, but come on, give him his flowers. All right, now as far as him being welterweight go, not sure, but he's definitely up there. I mean, it looks great. The next card is going to be Prohaska and Dominic Reyes, and that's going to be very, very, very cool. So stay tuned for a video about that. I'm going to love that. Make sure you keep on watching these fights. Watch the card if you haven't, or rewatch it for some of those cool moments, all right? And don't forget to enter the nerd.